Welcome to CSL TV, and I just hope you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is just a review, a reaction, as well as an informational channel. Hopefully the informational part help you and someone out, and we just gonna watch some videos and talk about them. But if you've been rocking with your boy, I just gotta say I appreciate you so much, because you could be somewhere else watching these videos and decide to be here with me, CSL TV. Now, this video we about to get into, this guy said he's a repeated offender. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, repeated offender of what though? Let's hope it's not nothing crazy involving kids and women. And as always, I hope you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day.
Longest life sentences handed to teenagers. Moving on to number 5, Lionel Tate. In 2001, Lionel had just turned 13 years old, entering his first official year as a teenager. It was in this year that he was playing with one of the neighbor's kids and ended up doing something horrific. It was in this moment that made him one of the youngest criminals in history to ever receive a life sentence. He claimed that he and the neighbor's kid were only wrestling, but he said he took it too far. Many believed it was an accident, as again, he was only 13. But the girl's body said otherwise. She suffered from several injuries, including broken ribs, a swollen brain, and a fractured skull. These findings made it very clear that she had been brutally attacked. Unfortunately, her injuries were so severe that she passed away. This isn't surprising, as he weighed 170 pounds at the time, whereas on the other hand, his victim only weighed 48. Lionel received a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
You mean to tell me this boy was just turning 13 years old and fucking 200 pounds? And, you know, rest in peace to the beautiful soul that we lost. He actually do deserve to get that time. Maybe not as much time as he deserved to get that, because he really knew what the fuck he was doing. Now, I could say after 30 or 40 years, maybe he could have been eligible, but they just struck my man. Like, they gave this little teen, like, damn, you out here like that? You gonna be a big boy. We can't have you out here. That's how they treat him.
Number 4, Travion Blount. One day, with their weapons, 2 18-year-olds and a 15-year-old robbed a dozen of other teenagers at a house party, taking money, phones, and illegal substances. No shots were fired, but one of the 18-year-olds struck someone with the butt of his weapon. For their offense, the 2 older boys accepted serious prison sentences of 10 and 13 years in exchange for pleading guilty. But the younger boy, Travion Blount, declined to plead guilty and turned down the prosecution's offer of 18 years in prison. He went to trial, was found guilty, and received a mandatory 118 years in prison without parole for 24 firearm counts. The entire group committed 2 felonies with a firearm, armed robbery, and abduction. On top of that, he received 6 life sentences. His only chance to exit prison alive is through the geriatric release at age 60, which is almost never granted. Other than execution, sentencing someone to be behind bars until they die is our most severe punishment, one that we mostly reserve for people who commit homicide. But many people convicted of homicide serve much shorter sentences than Travion, and that sentence is usually 20 years in prison.
Moving on to number 3, Evan Miller. In 2003, Evan was only 14 years old. At this young age, Evan was sentenced to life in prison after taking the life of Cole Cannon. He took this man's life during a robbery in Alabama. Miller and his accomplice brutally beat Cole and even lit his trailer on fire. Sadly, Cole passed away due to his injuries and of course the fire. Evan was tried as an adult and was convicted of capital murder. This resulted in him receiving a life sentence. However, during the pandemic, his case would be revisited, and the judge would resentence him to life without the possibility of parole. When sentencing, the judge said, "The crime is why we are here, not because of Mr. Miller's past." Now, I do believe that a criminal's childhood can play a huge role in the way they turn out, but I don't know about blaming their childhood for their awful crimes.
Now, you and your homie doing some crazy stuff like that. How could y'all, you know what I'm saying, rob somebody, then set the house on fire? You already robbed them. Just fucking leave. I mean, you have to take it to the extreme to want to set this house on fire, which caused him, you know, and that's why y'all got the life sentence.
Number 2, Alec McKinney and Devin Erickson. On May 7th, 2019, a school shooting occurred at STEM High School Highlands Ranch. One student died and 8 others were injured. 2 teenagers, students Alec McKinney and Devin Erickson, were the perpetrators. They were arrested and had been planning the attack for weeks. Alec said he planned to target 2 students in particular as they had bullied and ridiculed him. He said he wanted the kids at school to experience bad things, have to suffer from the trauma like he has had in his life. He also stated that he heard voices and has suffered from homicidal thoughts since the age of 12 and refused to take medication so that he wouldn't feel alone. Then, the voices win was written in Devin's house prior to the shooting. Both suspects said they used illegal substances before the shooting. Now, they were both tried as adults, and on February 7th, 2020, Alec pleaded guilty to 17 charges in a plea bargain with the prosecution. On the first degree of homicide charge, he faced a minimum sentence of 40 years to life in prison. On June 15, 2021, Devin was convicted of 46 counts, including first-degree homicide, attempted first-degree homicide, and conspiracy to commit first-degree homicide. On September 17, 2021, Devin was sentenced to life in prison without parole, plus 1,282 years.
Bruh, how they sentence my man 1,282 years? You know, when you get out, you know what I'm saying, motherfucking buildings gonna be floating. They ain't gonna have just floating cars, they gonna have floating buildings too.
And finally, at number 1, Gregory Brooks. At the young age of 19, Gregory pleaded guilty to abducting and taking the lives of a former talk show's parents. The crime was marked as an extremely tragic and horrible event. Alongside his partners in crime, Gregory broke into the couple's home and stole various things, including a $50 bill, a rifle, and jewelry before locking the couple in a closet. They sadly went on to physically harm and take both their lives. Due to his actions, Gregory faced severe legal consequences. The judge handed down a sentence of 60 years for each of the 2 counts of murder and additional charges related to robbery. In a matter of moments, Gregory received a total sentence of 120 years. Shortly after the sentencing, his father spoke to reporters, acknowledging that despite providing his son with a nurturing and supportive home, negative influences from criminal group members had swayed him into becoming an awful criminal. It's pretty crazy that he was sentenced to 120 years in a maximum security prison at such a young age. And because of his awful crimes, Gregory will spend the rest of his life behind bars, confined inside a small prison cell, all because he made some really questionable and awful decisions.
Well, he definitely got a lot of time, 120 years, but the one we just saw before this, oh my God, they gave dude 1,282 or 1,200 or something. I just know he got 1,200 years, and by the time he get out, like I said, buildings gonna be flying shit. Oh man, 1,200 years they gave that dude. He got 120, which is, you know what I'm saying, he can be 140 when he get out, you know, and then he can just boom and drop. You never know, but at the same time, these kids, man, these teenagers throwing their life away, man.